Hello. So I'm doing a second video today because I'm having a lot of fun. So what I'm thinking is that I'll give you a little bit of background about myself so we can kind of get the channel started knowing each other. At least you'll know about me. I'm originally from Defiance, Ohio, and I grew up on a farm. Not really a farmer though. My dad just owned land. But we did grow things. We grew soybeans, and we let the neighbor's farmer, we just let them use it, and then we took a cut, and then got tax breaks. That was what my dad did. He worked for General Motors. He was never around very much, and he was a pretty bad alcoholic. But he was nice most of the time. He was goofy. I lived with my mom, who she had a really hard life. She learned how to read later, and it was an interesting thing. I had a younger brother who I grew up with, and we were about 9 months apart. So mostly the only sibling I knew was Henry, my younger brother. I miss him. I also had an older sister named Kimberly, and her first name is my middle name because, honor my sibling. And I have an older brother named Tony, who he lived with us a little bit when I was young, but then he left home. He's very much older. And then I saw him again at my mom's funeral. And I haven't seen him since. I'm trying to go visit him. Hopefully soon. I want to see you, brother. Meet my sister-in-law, my nieces and nephews, who I love. I hope you're not embarrassed of me. I want to meet you. So back to the story. So it was a really weird life. Both my mom and dad had huge families, and we were more in touch with my dad's family. We'd go to all sorts of functions. My uncle lived down the street, and they were kind of like a second mom and dad to me. My aunt is from Germany, and she, when I was little, she was very kind to me, I thought. She let me go to her house and watch C-SPAN because they had a satellite, and I just loved C-SPAN so much. But we'll get into other weird things, I guess. A lot of times my life was normal, or at least what I thought it was normal. But I always knew something was very wrong, just from television. I knew that TV was not real, but I knew that somehow they represented a more real reality as far as families and how situations go than what I was living in. I was mostly left on my own. My brother and I would just do, whatever we did. He was so sweet. He was the kindest person when we were young. And we did so many things together. We did this kind of stuff together. We would dress up, and it was really good. For when we were really, really young. And then sometimes in secret. But not for very long. He became we both did. But so we had to go to church and memorize things and be Christians. So there's lots of that. But my dad didn't go to church. So my mom was super religious, and my dad was not religious. He was just always gone drinking a lot. He was never violent. But him and my mom hated each other. Just hated each other with such a passion that I all the time I would wish, I'm like, please get a divorce, please get a divorce, please get a divorce. But they never did. And my family's I don't know what kind. Be careful. Let's just say that learning how to commit crimes and be con artists was something that they it was kind of like, that's our family thing. And other things, right? We learn how to do weird things. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, when I was very young, I was like this, like just my natural personality. But over time, with conversion therapy, I had to get a new personality, and it was just these things that I memorized. And it made it hard at first to make friends because I just didn't know what to do. And then my parents made me join sports to make friends, and so I wouldn't get beat up. Because my cousin's big, they're like big sports. Like everyone in my family is like 6'4" giants, right? And I'm like 5'6", so I'm like a little like, am I adopted? What's going on? My mom is teeny, by the way. She's like super teeny. She's like 5 or 1 or something. She's so teeny. And then, um, so we have all my family's good at sports, and so they had like would donate money and stuff, and so I was like, they didn't want to be embarrassed. Like it was a thing. Like my family was in defiance, was very worried about me being an embarrassment to their legacy. It was horrible. And so like my cousins, they did one of the there's three of them, three cousins, and the one moved away early, but the other two stayed like they were down the street, and the youngest one, he was the closest to my age, about 5 years older than me. He was viciously cruel to me all the time. He would just beat me and beat me and beat me, and it was like I'd have to. My mom would drive me for this, like him and another cousin, and they would just beat me up, just randomly. Like you don't, like I don't know how to describe how that affects you. It gave me really bad. I would say I definitely got PTSD from that. Because he would just stand up and I would just shake and cower, and it would be all the time, and he would just go by me and go boo, right? And he knew that I was afraid of him because he was so much bigger, and because he would hit me and it would hurt easily. He would hurt me, and it was just like he would just punch me and it'd be random, like from behind. Like he's a giant person, he would just punch me randomly or hold me down and suffocate me. Like my family loved that game, the "we're gonna suffocate you" game. And that was part of my therapy all the time too. Like you can't breathe, so I have a horrible panic attacks where I'm not breathing, and I'm so afraid of coronavirus because of that. Like I really, you don't even want to know what I'm thinking about if I ever get coronavirus. Like I can't. Oh, where was I? So it was a teeny little place I'm from, and so I couldn't really fit in, and I always tried to be contrarian and to fight, like in what any way I could, without letting on to what was truly in my heart and what I was upset about. Because I mean, the school seemed to know what my deal was, because it always seemed like they were asking me questions. Like in fifth grade, they started an investigation if I was being abused, and then later when I got to high school, I wanted to be rebellious, and so I'm going to tell this story because it's really weird. And my dad's alive, but he doesn't like me, so I'm going to just tell this story. And so my dad, like my real, like, let's go with my dead name. Like I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's the exact same name as my dad, like the legal name. But that wasn't what my mom wanted me called. She wanted me to have a different name. And I like the name she picked better. And I'm glad that she made everyone call me that, because it's a very much less dysphoric name than the other one, you know. And, but that's weird. It was just a weird thing. I wasn't junior. It was like a legit, just here's 2 birth certificates separated by a year. And so that was odd, but then I figured out that was planned. Like he had a plan. And so when I turned old enough to get ID, he drives me to to get my license. I passed the tests and all that stuff. So yeah, it's time to get the license. And I had my documents and stuff. And he's very rarely been like giving me ultimatums. But he dropped me off at the DMV, and he gave me an ultimatum, and it was kind of like, it was a really weird one. I mean, I knew I had to do it, and He's like, I want you to change your name or your birthday. I'm like, why did I change my birthday? He's like, yeah, change your birthday to my birthday. I'm like, the year? And he goes, no, 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 not the year. Just the month and the day. And I'm like, what? How am I going to do that? He goes, I don't give a fuck how you do this. I don't give a fuck how you do this. But you're going to do it. And he's like, you have to figure it out. There you go. I mean, I didn't know what to say. I had no choice. He's like, you're not getting back in this car. Just get, go fucking do it. And I was like, damn, Dad. So I go into the DMV with this plan that I'm going to say that my birth certificate has an error. Because what else am I going to do? And so I finally get up to the counter of the DMV, and there's a nice older lady helping me. And I fill out the forms, and I'm like, look, I have to do this. Like, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna be like, they're gonna hurt me if I don't do this. I have to do this. Something bad is gonna happen if I don't do this. And she's like, I'm crying. She's like, because that's, I'm going for sympathy. That's all I know to do, right? You just play up the sympathy card. Because I was really, I had no choice. I had no choice, right? I just had to get it done. And she was like, okay, I'll help you. She was very nice. She's like, I'm about to retire anyway, And so I changed my name or my birthday. And Mom was like, while I'm doing this, I'm going to get something for myself because that's not really fair. If this ID is not going to be accurate or you're changing it, I want to change it for something that I want. And so I had her do my sex as female at 16 in Defiance, Ohio. I was so proud. It had the wrong birthday on it, so I had fucked it all up. It wasn't going to stick, right? Obviously. But for the moment, I had a completely dysphoric, horrible name, which I didn't change. Couldn't change. But a birthday that was changed. Very strange birthday thing. And then my sex marker. And so that went along for a while, and I was concerned, like, what's this about? Why is that happening? Like, I never think about it, but I, made fun of it a little bit, and I did goofy things, like, oh, and also that at that time, like, in response, the school had a response to this. Like, I was very proud of myself. I wasn't afraid to show my friends or to show teachers what I had done. Their response was like how everyone back in the 90s, I graduated high school in 1993. And so, like, 1989, 1990, everyone in Ohio had, like, mullets. Long hair down to here, but in the back, party in the back, part up front, as business. Well, so all these guys have these long haircuts, and they're like, nope, not you. You're different. And I'm like, why am I different? Because you are. You have to have totally, like, they're like, your hair has to be up to here all over. You can't have any hair like that. You have to be professional. You're expelled. Anyway, just something. Always drama around me. So I did that. But one of the fun things I talked about on Twitter is that I did weightlifting as a boy or as a girl. But I didn't really. I mean, of course, I didn't join the group. Like, I don't even know if they had divisions, but we drove to Columbus, Ohio or something. And I was doing weightlifting and, making friends and stuff. It's a long day of just waiting. Mostly that's what you do, is wait. And I did it as a girl, but with the guys. It's kind of fun because, I'm me being goofy. And so I was making friends with girls. And so they got to come and watch. It was fun. Also, I joined Miss Teen Ohio, and I did okay. I made it fat, they let you go. Until it gets serious, everyone goes ahead, essentially, right? For whatever reason. And I was dumb enough to keep signing up. So it was a lot of fun. And mostly it was fun because I wish I had been more serious, because I had treated my identity as a joke. I wasn't ready to deal with shame and things, but I had a lot of fun. Then after that, I couldn't get into college, so I had to change everything back, which made me so depressed that I gained so much weight. I got to 300 pounds, drinking a lot, and doing weird things in Toledo, and going to Canada. A lot of Canada. Yeah, I went to Canada a lot. And then, so it was a good time. That's what I did as a transgender girl who was a boy before I transitioned. And I would think that, oh, and also at 21, around that time, my mom had was killing herself. Oh, and let me tell you, I did find out what happened with the name. So my mom wanted to get a divorce from my dad. And I was getting my psych degree and I was doing my practicum at St. Charles Hospital, you know. And I was counseling people. And it was a really stressful part, like I'm counseling and I'm mentally ill and stuff like that. And my mom calls me out of nowhere and she's like, I'm really sorry for whatever happened. And she explained that the school wasn't gonna let me go to school and she had never learned to read and that she couldn't have that kind of life for me and that that's why she had to do what she had to do was to keep other people from hurting me. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I hurt you, but it was only to keep you from dying because people were having such negative reactions to you. And I had noticed, particularly when they did the pronouns, when my parents started really enforcing pronouns, it wasn't against me. I didn't really care about pronouns. It was strangers. And so strangers would just, or anyone, girls says, that looks like a girl, that looks like a girl. And strangers, you're such a cute little girl. And I was, precocious and stuff. And my dad, my mom, they were like, no, no, that's a boy. And so people were like, ew, they were from liking me to, ew, I could, it didn't make me feel good. So she had explained that, all that was but she apologized. She realized that it was a bad idea. And she wanted me to go be happy. And I was 20 when that happened. I did forgive her because we talked a while and she was so sincere. And her life was really hard. It really was. But she had told me, her lawyer had told me, that my dad had fake bank accounts all over the country under my name. And we were able to access each other's accounts because I did that before he had it changed back. And he was really, really mad that I knew how to get into his bank account. He didn't have me, but he was mad. I mean, why'd you make me change your identity? I don't know. But I did have things like that were always happening. And then after my mom had killed herself, I should have done it. Or I should have done it as soon as I turned 18. But I didn't want to be a fat girl. I was so, this life is horrible. I couldn't handle I knew how life treats people. And so I was just afraid of more anything, more of that stuff. I was afraid of rejection and violence. I couldn't handle it. And so I spent the next 20 years until I was 40, until I transitioned. I don't know what, it was just, over time, I just couldn't handle being fake anymore. It wasn't even me. I had memorized how to hold things, I had memorized how to talk, I had memorized everything. There was no part of me left inside of me that I was expressing. And so I just needed to get away from that kind of a life, or I would die. And then I met I just decided, and then I met friends and things like that. Well, I'll tell more stories in the future because I'm rambling. I love you, YouTube. Bye.